Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy, the place of AI related to Amazon, FBA, private label, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you a very close friend of mine, John, founder and CEO of Seller Candy, where they specialize on everything that has to do with figuring out, all the troubleshooting on your Amazon brand. We know selling on Amazon every single day you wake up, you see those suspension emails, things that have to do with documentation, things that have to do with inventory loss, all the headache. That's where Select Candy comes on board and make it, very easy for you. So John, thank you for being here for second time now. Welcome back. How you doing?
Vincenzo, thank you for having me. It's always great to be back.
Man.
But you are in a
How you
different
been?
location, so it's like we've been in a whole new place.
That's true. How's everything going on your side? Everything okay?
That's great.
Awesome, man.
I had a baby, not me personally, but my wife had a baby. Things have been moving fast. It's crazy how quickly they grow and how little they sleep.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think it must be not easy to run Amazon businesses and not sleep.
But luckily, we
think
have
it's
an
not the worst
amazing team.
combination.
I don't do any of the actual suspension stuff.
I feel you. So I guess to start very quickly with an intro by yourself, just tell us, who is John Seller Kind, and then of course we can dive into today's topic. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, hey everyone. I've been based. I'm from the UK originally, but I've been outside the UK for a decade now. I'm living almost always in Vietnam. So I live in
Smart
Vietnam.
choice.
Oh, thank you. And I saw Vincenzo in Vietnam actually last time in person, I think, when you were here.
Yeah.
I was running Amazon-related business for the last decade. I was a seller for 4 or 5 years. Then I started an agency, which became Seller Candy. And the reason that Seller Candy exists is that we believe that the worst part about selling on Amazon is dealing with Amazon. So we make it so you never need to talk to seller support again. So we have our own team of amazing ex-Amazon seller support agents, and we act on behalf of sellers to basically do everything in the back end of seller support, from creating and uploading flat files, which is the easiest stuff, to arguing with account suspensions, listing suspensions, and getting stuff back. Because we do it all day, every day. We've done over 120,000 support tickets in the last 4 years.
Wow, that's great. So I guess that's a very good starting point, suspensions. You just mentioned that, and we know the whole suspension landscape has been changing a bit in the Amazon space, because Amazon is being very rough when it comes to that. Like we're seeing that they're putting a lot of emphasis lately on changing a bit the procedure, how they flag these things. They're using a lot of automation now. So I guess that would be a good starting point for today's podcast, which is, how you seeing the whole suspension situation shifting in terms of, how Amazon is acting in terms of the appeals, how Amazon acting in terms of the time frame it gives you to react, how harsh is Amazon becoming. What is your feeling lately with all the cases that you see on a daily basis with Seller Candy?
Yeah, so I mean, our main overarching thing at Seller Candy is that Amazon is getting harder. They're getting harder to get them to do what you want them to do. So what used to be a relatively simple ticket, like updating a listing, raising the appeal, used to be bread and butter for us. It still is bread and butter. We do it all day, every day, but it takes longer and it's harder. So what our agents are saying is we have to argue a lot more persistently. We need to escalate more aggressively, within Amazon's terms of service. And we need to, just be more proactive than we used to. Ever since I started Seller Candy in 2020, Amazon has got consistently harder to get things solved, which is interesting, considering that things should get better over time, but actually it's just been getting harder and harder.
Yeah, I think that's something that even myself talking to Amazon sellers and clients, is such a headache, because in the past we already been having so many issues. You're already trying to struggle with your PPC, you're already struggling your inventory, you're struggling now with the brand raising side of things, which we're also going to go into that. And now the suspension side of things, it seems to be tougher and tougher. So I guess where I want to go with this kind of intro, which is where we trying to bring the conversation to, is how we prevent these things, because it seems a lot of these things sometimes are very trivial that you don't even know. Sometimes you need certain kind of documentation or certain kind of things in hand to make sure your account keeps working as usual. So is there some kind of checklist you guys would recommend for these things? what is your advice like when people ask you like,
Mm. Yeah, if they want a guide or a checklist, we actually have a guide or a checklist on our site.
nice,
I would
cool.
send them to
We can
sellercandy
put a
dot
link down below.
no,
Hmm.
no, yeah, sellercandy.academy rather than .com, sellercandy.academy, and we have like this like
Hmm.
checklist and guidebook we spent the last 5 years putting together, where you can download
Nice.
kind of everything step by step how to get stuff done. We can put that below. Um, and then it's just making sure you're actually looking at things. It's so easy
Yeah.
with your business to get distracted by the day to day and not check. So, whether you have yourself doing it, ideally you have a team member who's responsible, because, as always, assign responsibilities across the team for checking account health indexes, voice of the customer, just going through and checking everything regularly, because things just, they just pile up on you, don't they? And then you get there, you check it, and you're like, oh no, voice of the customer is way too bad. We
Hmm.
need to do something right now before we get suspended, and then we're going to have to argue with Amazon about this stupid issue, which isn't really an issue.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And now when it comes to dealing with suspensions and all of that, is what is your take on AI? Because I feel one of the reasons why people having such a tough time as well doing appeals with Amazon and so on is
Mm,
because a lot of people is using ChatGPT, copy paste kind of responses, not only for suspension, also for
mm,
appealing things with listings, with inventory situations, and that's why people is now reaching these roadblocks because everybody's using the same copy paste response for ChatGPT, right? And working with
yeah.
professionals like you, and then they encounter themselves on a place where they just dig a deeper hole. So, what is your
Mm.
take on people that it just blindly just copy pasting ChatGPT responses and just making a worse situation
I
for
don't
their
know. I
economy?
mean, I have a whole, what do you call it? A whole like world problem with the people copy and pasting chat GBT responses. Like,
Mm,
it's like, like when the next generation have like the iPad kids, everyone's complains
yeah,
about the iPad kids who are not going to be able to interact with humans properly. I feel like if we're not careful, we're going to have the chat GPT kids who just ask AI and copy and paste the answer. And then AI will reprogram all of us. And then, then we've entered the twilight zone and everyone is programmed by computers and we do what the AI wants. Um, but all joking aside, I think like AI is at the moment anyway is as good as the information you put in. And the problem is
mm,
AI scans the entire internet. So it's got the good stuff in there, which is somewhere, but it also has all of the old stuff and the BS and the stuff from like the sketchy online courses. It has everything.
yeah,
So yes, it has the right answer in there somewhere. You just need to find it. Um,
yeah,
so if you know what you're doing, you could definitely use AI to write a good response, but it's just the same as you writing itself yourself. And just as always, when I'm using AI, you dictate what you want. You say, please organize this in a way that makes sense to me, and then it can write it for you. But it's only as good as the information you put in.
agree.
And Amazon only cares about ticking their boxes. That's the thing you need to remember with Amazon when you're doing anything. All they care about is tick boxes. So arguing with them doesn't work. Telling them that you're right and they're wrong doesn't work. All they need to want to know is that you accept the issue. You've done this immediately about the issue. You're going to do this going forward about the issue, and they're not going to hear about it again, basically. So you can either
Yeah.
be right or you can be wealthy or rich. You know.
I know. And now, when it comes to this whole situation as well of you know, I guess which is another thing I wanted to bring to the conversation is like, yeah, it's not only being used heavily across, suspension and all of that. I feel that's also one of the main reasons why people is also getting listens suppressed or taken down because if you're blindly just copy pasting a listen that you do in ChatGPT and you use a keyword that you shouldn't be using or mentioning something that you shouldn't be saying, that will
Yeah.
lead you then to a suspension very fast, and that's where effectively you can end up um, on the scenario where you end up on a roadblock. So what I'm trying to say here is when we start to understand, especially from a seller candy perspective, and just to make the example here, what are some of the things that Amazon is looking for in terms of what things you should be using
Mm.
for your titles or the backend to avoid suspensions? Is there some kind of then a guideline that you will say even you guys would recommend people to use when they use AI tools to make images, to make copy? Like how you make sure this AI people is using out there? it's not leading people to suspension, because I feel a lot of the AI people is using out there doesn't have a clue about what are the terms and conditions, doesn't have a clue about what you can say or you cannot say. So how you guys
Mm.
mitigating that as well? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right, aren't you? Like especially with, I don't know about you, have you used any of those AI email response tools?
I see.
Super
Yeah, yeah,
great. It helps you
yeah,
draft a
yeah,
response to email immediately. It'll just draft
yeah,
one,
yeah.
put it in your outbox. But I read through them. I've even canceled mine today because I read through it and it hallucinates so badly that I
Mm,
can't even use it. It's like, it makes up
yeah.
like, oh, you'll find everything at this page on our website. And it's
Hmm.
gone. That would make sense if I did have a page on my website that said that.
But you
I
don't.
don't.
Yeah,
Nothing, I have nothing to do with it. Sounds like a great response though. So
yeah.
yeah, that's hallucination is the biggest issue. If someone asked me how shall I use AI to create my listings, I would recommend that they use an AI listing tool like Zonguru's AI research tool. Pretty good. It might still hallucinate semi-compliant stuff, so you still need to really review it and check that it doesn't say anything. But it's not going to say cures cancer or whatever whatever else ChatGPT
Yeah,
will
yeah.
say in order to write the best possible copy that's going to sell this product.
I know, I
Um,
know, I know.
the best one actually for that, I was trying to rewrite one of our website, and it
Yeah.
was for our old product, Refundify, where we help people with refunds. We don't do that anymore because the whole debacle in the Amazon refund system. Um, but I said, oh, can you just look at all of our competitors and write a better website? And it said, okay, cool. It looked at all the competitors in the industry, and one of them said that they've done $1 billion in refunds, and that's
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
And it said, the ChatGPT said, we do $1 billion a day in refunds.
I know, I know. That's the thing. That's why it's so dangerous. And I see this like people even that come to us and we do audits. They have so crazy statements sometimes on the listings, the images. Like man, like you are lucky that somebody didn't sue you, or
Mm,
like that's the danger of AI. Like sometimes AI try to fill holes in the information that you might have with
mm,
facts that actually don't belong to you, right?
yeah.
And that's where things can get dangerous very fast, as you just described. Now, going back to the whole situation of case studies, case support with Amazon, all of that. What is your take as well on how Amazon is implementing significantly more AI on their side? Like I feel lately, I don't know if you feel the same. I'm getting more and more AI responses so back from them. So it seems
Mm,
like now you're also trying to play the game to get through the AI to actually end up with a real person, right? It feels Amazon is getting more AI driven as well. So what how you guys trying to mitigate that as well? Because it now it's reaching a point where you're using ChatGPT from your side, they're using their own internal AI to automate
mm.
certain cases, and it's AI fighting with AI, right? Yeah,
The AI wars. Um, I think it depends. I mean, from my point of view, if they did actually allow AI to auto respond, at least you're in a quick feedback loop. You don't have to wait 12 to 24 hours for a response. Hopefully, AI should be, you know,
yeah,
generatively fast. Um, Amazon's always sounded like a bot, haven't they? At least for the
yeah,
last 5, 6 years, because they use a thing called workflow. So when a support agent is sitting in the Philippines or in Central America and Costa Rica, um, they get your response, they go through a workflow like a decision tree, and then they find the answer and they copy and paste it. And Amazon's been trying to automate this for as long as possible by having humans follow the decision tree, so eventually they can use AI. I think this was before the whole generative AI thing came in, and they're like, oh, we can probably do it a different way.
yeah,
um, so that's always been the problem. They have to close a ticket within 8 minutes. The KPI is to not have it reopened, and they just have to slam it in and close it. And
yeah.
that's not. We at Seller Candy try and be the opposite of that. We try and be we think about it and we go, oh, what do they actually want? How can we help you get to the outcome you
Yeah,
want to have? You want to get to the outcome, not the answer.
yeah. I think that's actually something which is been also kind of the nemesis of the
Mm,
customer support from Amazon, that they have this KPI that if you don't reply enough cases fast enough, they actually penalize you as an employee. So I feel sometimes
mm,
they just close cases, not because they don't want to help you, it just they have to make up with how many cases they have to do on an hourly basis. And that's
yeah.
contradictory, because it shouldn't be based on that, it should be on how many times successfully they actually have an Amazon seller. But
Yeah.
anyway, we know the reality. Now, what are things you're seeing in terms of issues that have been raising more lately? Like, I know we talk about suspensions, but are you seeing lately more issues with, for example, which we briefly touched now, listing suspensions, issues with um, fighting things with a brand registry, or things that have to do more with maybe inventory issues. Like, what are some of the cases that, if you have a look at your whole kind of ecosystem of Seller Candy, like these things keep coming up, like I keep having this issue? Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I think it's the same stuff. To be honest, I think we've
Okay.
been doing with the same stuff the last 5 years, pretty much. It's
Mm-hmm.
just getting harder and harder. So where it used to be that we would not do any listing updates, now we do a lot of listing updates because
Mm-hmm.
Amazon freezes everything, and then we have to push it through with flat files and feed files and raise cases. Apart from that, like I said, I think volume sometimes has gone down a little bit of the cases people raise, but the complexity and actually getting stuff done has definitely gone up. So like people are getting stuck more on what should have been things that they could solve themselves or that we could have
Mm-hmm.
solved within, you know, a small amount of time is now taking us a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Okay.
AI eventually will be a great thing once
Yeah.
Amazon implements it, but you've got to be super careful, haven't you, where the human line ends and can you about changing prices or setting removal orders. Like, who do you
Mm-hmm.
trust to do stuff like that can
I know.
liquidate inventory?
Yeah, I think some of the things as well. I'm also seeing more. I'm keen to hear your take on this. Is on the other picture with
Mm,
AI, I see more and more people when they're having an issue with documentation or things like that. Now with AI, you can make up a lot of things. You can make an
mm,
invoice on the spot. You can make a authorization later on the spot.
mm,
I'm seeing more like there's more kind of dodgy things going on from seller side. Like they are getting
mm.
they are falsifying things that usually was impossible to do before. So are you seeing that also being a bigger issue lately with AI? Because I mean, with AI these days you can manufacture anything that you want, any reality. So how you think also AI could be a negative thing for Amazon sellers in the fact that the bad people, the bad players, can get
Mm.
away now with so many more things because they can make up anything with AI. You know?
I haven't personally seen it, but I
Yeah.
mean, the problem is that not everyone is, not
Yeah.
everyone is the smartest person out there, and you might accidentally follow it. AI generates this, and
Yeah.
they might think, "Oh, perfect! AI generated me
Yeah.
something. I'm going to submit it." They don't realize they're committing fraud.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
legitimate
Yeah.
fraud that Amazon will sue you for or suspend you for.
Yeah.
So, the average IQ in the world is 98 or 100. You gotta mitigate for that.
I know.
Um, but at the same time, most people are honest. Most people work hard. Most people want to do the right
Of
thing.
course.
Occasionally,
Of
people
course.
make mistakes, and then you've got like, and if you want to
I know.
be sketchy, there are thousands of those sellers out there in
I know.
all over the
I
world.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why I wanted to bring that to a table is because we all know that there is a lot of black sellers doing these techniques and attacking, like, doing this really dodgy business, putting claims on other people's businesses, saying this is counterfeit. And I'm seeing, at least from my side, that's why I was keen to hear your take. Is like I see this kind of a trend lately where now with AI it's easier for these bad players to take other competitors down, because now with AI you
Mm.
can manufacture any reality. So that's why the question. Now on other topics, I wanted to bring to pick your brain when it comes to support. I was keen to also hear from you, like, how do you see the whole situation going with, for example, patents, trademarks, and all of that? Like I see lately, people is trying to protect themselves more than ever into those things because of how tough the business is
Mm.
getting. So a lot of our clients now, most of them have patents, most of them have trademarks, most of them are really investing significantly into intellectual property to make sure that they can have some kind of assets that will make sure a Chinese seller might not take them down. So from a seller candy perspective, or even from you personally, are you seeing this being a bigger kind of I would say area where you guys are focusing right now in terms of protecting your clients, doing IP claims and things like that, or you see the same kind of volume as you used in the past?
I mean, we always have IP claims, and we always have
Yeah.
introductions from IP partners.
Mhm.
We have lots of partners in the space, and
Mhm.
they send people to us when they have stuff that they don't want to deal with on the back end of dealing with
Yeah.
the Amazon part of it. Um, in terms of my volume personally, I can ask the team. Actually, I don't know about that one. I will ask. The good thing is our team is operating 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
10,000 tickets a month, 20,000 tickets a month. So I need to get deep into the trenches and ask. To be honest, it's a good question. I will ask how we're going with IP stuff, and
Yeah,
we've always had a lot of trademarks. Obviously, everyone just trademark, but in terms of patents, that's really interesting.
yeah. That's something I was keen to ask you because I know for a fact that with everything happening, copycats and tariffs and everything, like at the end of the day, what is the only thing you have to protect is the actual idea
Mm.
that you bring to market. So and seeing people being very even harsh in terms of using brand race to take all the competitor
Mm.
copycatting their ideas and everything. So I was keen to know if that's something you're seeing a higher volume than usual. Um, Now, another thing I was keen to hear from you is how is the situation going on with reviews? Like, I
Mm.
saw Amazon getting tougher on this. They're pretty much now removing the fact that you can reach out to customers. They're getting very tough on how fast they suspend you if you ask for reviews. Like, what is your take? Like, what are you seeing with the whole review situation happening with your support cases and all that?
So there's a few of those suppliers out there that just do review removal and
Mm-hmm.
charge based on success. I know some of them got into some hot water a couple of years ago because they raised in huge volume without managing against TOS. So I mean, Amazon's always said that they will remove reviews which are non-compliant with their terms of service, and we still do that for our clients. So if you want help with that, we can help with that. But as you said, the success rate is just so low, which is why we do that as a side service just to help our clients. Other people charge
Mm-hmm.
on success per review because you need like if you don't have 1,000 negative reviews, they won't even take you on as a client
It's crazy. I
because
know. I know.
the success rate is so low.
Yeah, I know.
Um, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you see the negative reviews, it's nothing to do with the product. It could be delivery, it could be another product that's nothing to do with your client's product, and then Amazon won't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we say for those people are being attacked with negative reviews and everything, like it really sounds that the only hope is just keep fighting with Amazon, right? It's like there's no
Well, attack is
like how
different.
you,
Attack is a little bit different, isn't it? Because
yeah,
attack, at
yeah.
least we can look at a trend and we can track
Okay,
everything. It's standard negative reviews is difficult, but attacks, we should be able to track an attack and
nice.
help turn that around.
Cool. And in terms of I would say now that we're talking about reviews, like are you seeing more issues lately with people around strategies with inserts? Like is that still an issue? People is getting suspended by that. What is your opinion with that?
We haven't seen any of our clients get any warnings or suspensions because
Okay.
of inserts.
Okay.
I think it depends what it says in the insert.
Yeah,
There's
of course.
usually a lot of
If
those
you say
Chinese inserts, like 5-star. Give us
uh,
5-star, or reach out if you're not happy, and we'll send you another free one.
yeah. No, because the reason why I ask you this, yeah, I already talked to people, and people say, no, these days you cannot even put a QR code that says claim this on our website, things like that. Is that something you see people not having any issues? Like, it's fine? Oh,
None of our clients I've seen have had
okay,
any issues. I mean,
nice.
I've always advised people to keep it in line with like what a
Of course.
professional brand what a professional
Mm.
brand would do. They're not
Yeah,
suspending Sony
yeah,
or Panasonic
yeah.
for putting in
Sony
registering
wouldn't
a warranty.
say, buy this product, we send you a $50 gift card.
Mm. They'll say register for 1 year extended warranty, or they'll say here are the videos to
Mm,
put this thing together.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
and then from there,
video
you
is
do
all
whatever you
extra
have to do.
value. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Problem is
Cool. So
people
I guess
dismiss
it's,
it.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Now to start coming to a closure, what other things you think, Jim, is something that is been coming through your desk that you see, maybe this is happening more than usual, or
Mm.
overall, like, or maybe prediction. Is there some last kind of gold nugget, as they call it, you want to share with us?
Prediction. AI
Yeah.
apocalypse incoming. By the time you watch this, we will be robots, me and Vincenzo.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's been a crap first half of the year for e-commerce sellers, hasn't it? Like if you're selling on Amazon now, you've been having a relatively okay half of the year. Nobody that I know has said, "Wow, first half of
Yeah.
2025, I've made
I'm
millions."
killing it.
Well, some people have made millions of dollars, but
Yeah.
I'm suddenly a millionaire. It's not going
Yeah.
crazy. So, as with any business downturn, like there will be an end, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and the ones that survive are the ones that hang on. So,
Yeah.
keep marketing, keep spending money on marketing, keep profitable, and just keep going. Like we all aim to be here and thriving in 2 years' time. So it's all
Thank
going
you.
to be
That's
okay.
actually a good advice because we're actually you was talking about this before going, live, and I say like I've been also doing this for, close to 7 years now, a long time, and I'm telling you, like it's always like this. I've been going
Mm,
through the ups and downs, and when you are down, it's difficult. Like, you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel here and there, but it's what you just mentioned. Keep pushing, stay consistent, believe in your project, of course, and your product or whatever you're doing. And I think, to be honest with you, towards the end of the year, end of next year, we're gonna see a very nice uptrend. Like I feel right now we're reaching almost the bottom of kind of semi the bottom. So I think it's just right in the way towards the end of the year. Stay afloat, don't do any crazy decisions. And I feel for those brands that actually keep hustling and survive, they're gonna have a good also situation, because a lot of brands are not gonna make it, unfortunately. And that what is gonna create in the market is a huge void in a lot of the categories, where the ones that stay, they're gonna have to fulfill the demand that's gonna come on board again. So yeah.
mm, yeah,
Yeah. But
sounds
anyway,
great to me.
John, how people can reach out to you and work with Seller Candy, because I'm sure everything we talked today is something that people are struggling on a daily basis. So tell me more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do with it before we take on a client, every new client, is we jump on a call and we see, are we a good fit, and is there money that we can save you in your account immediately? Because the real goal is that you join us and then immediately we've paid for more than our initial fee just by finding money in your account. So if you want to do that, and if you're interested in us like looking deep into your account, like recently we found $7,800 of like unclaimed missed deliveries in one account. We found another suspended listing that I think was cost them like $15,000 in sales, which they also hadn't got back up. You just need to book a call on our website. So you go to sellercandy.com, click book a call, and then you'll talk to Kelly, who's on our team. He'll dive deep with you, find any missing revenue, lost money, anything like that. And if you have a specific issue, he can also answer you if we can do it, how we can do it, and how long it'll take. Basically, we're
Awesome,
always
John.
there to support.
Thank you. I'll make sure to put everything down in the description for people to find you.
Yeah,
Other than that, a
sellercandy.com.
pleasure. Yeah. Hopefully I see you soon in Vietnam. Let's see if I escape again there
Hopefully,
this year.
come visit.
Yeah. Pleasure, John. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay.
You too.
Have
Thanks,
a good one.
Vincenzo.
Take care. See ya. Bye bye.